Dear Chairman, Your Excellency, Madam Secretary General, distinguished members of the jury, dear competitors of the opposition, fellow members of the proposition, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start with a little recap of what we've said here tonight and why we, the government, believe that competition is better than cooperation. In fact, I believe that I can sum it up in one sentence. Competition is a positive driving force that fuels innovation in the economy, in research, and in politics, whereas cooperation thrives on resignation and breeds uniformity. Cooperation gives you an incentive to be below average, to pass your burden on to your neighbor. Competition, however, entices you to haul yourself above the average, to surpass yourself. That's the fantastic spirit of competition, ladies and gentlemen, and that's why we believe that it should prevail. Now, don't get me wrong, we're not denying the possible coexistence of competition and cooperation. We're not saying that cooperation should be avoided at all costs. Obviously, we believe that cooperation is necessary if it gives you a competitive advantage. In other words, just to do a sports metaphor for a second, we're not bashing teamwork, we're just praising the game. Now, enough with the metaphors. Let's get down to business. Let's be more specific. From an economic standpoint, as my elegant colleague Arnaud has showed you, competition is more efficient. It drives prices down. It encourages each company to make the best offer possible. I mean, this is basic economic theory. Ultimately, consumers benefit from corporate competition. Of course, we believe that economic competition should be regulated. We're not advocates of a business jungle. Economic cooperation, on the other hand, often leads to perverse effects. The main one being collusion. Yes.
Don't you agree that the regulation you just mentioned is done by people cooperating?
Absolutely. I believe that cooperating is necessary in order to provide a structure for fair competition. But ultimately the goal is to compete. To get back to collusion, anyone who has a cell phone plan here in France, as my colleague Arnaud has reminded you, is reminded of that harsh reality every month when they get their bill in the mail. Guys, face the facts, cooperation between companies should be kept to a minimum or else it leads to disaster. In fact, they have a name for a whole economic model based entirely on cooperation. It's called Soviet Russia. And I'm sorry to break it down to you, but it doesn't work. Now, from an intellectual standpoint, as my elegant colleague Thomas has put it, competition is better than cooperation because it fuels innovation and creativity. Scientific progress is driven by competition between different theories. If it wasn't for competition in science, we would still believe that the Earth is the center of the universe. In politics now, we crave for competition. Can you imagine a world where Sarko and Segault would cooperate? I mean, how boring would that be? In fact, as my delightful colleague Enes said, competition in politics is a vital part of our democracy. Without competition, there is no alternation. It's when politicians stop competing that you have to start freaking out. Yes.
So, are you suggesting we take down the Assemblée Nationale right now?
No, I'm not suggesting that we take it down. I'm suggesting that we let different politicians compete in it. That's all I'm saying. So if competition makes more sense than cooperation politically, intellectually, economically, what more do you need to be convinced? It's more reliable, more stable, and more efficient. Yes?
In politics, if competition is two people fighting over something they both want, how is competition different from war then? Do you want war?
No. The difference is that in politics, people don't kill each other. At least in most cases, they don't. All right. Let me summarize the opposition's argument. Let's take a trip around planet Assas for a second. First, it was Miss Montméjat who believes that we want to eliminate all our rivals. Believe me, I don't want to eliminate you. I want to beat you, though. I want to beat you this year, but I want you to get back on your feet so I can beat you again next year. Mr. Klein, You said that any form of cooperation is inherently beautiful, that Berlin is the home of the Love Parade. Well, I'm sorry that you had to be dragged out of your Berlin fairy tale. Sorry you had to come to this jungle. Really, to tell you the truth, I actually like this jungle. Miss Beklemichova, she spoke of a turkey dinner, I don't remember the rest. And Mr. Walker, who started by saying that the human body is a miracle, I'm sorry to break it down to you, but the human body, we're just a poorly evolved primate species, and we've known this since Darwin, 1809. Okay, so to sum it up, the opposition contends that without cooperation, the system would collapse. It would be mayhem. We don't entirely disagree. We're saying that cooperation is necessary if it provides a structure for fair competition. I'd like to finish with a little story I read in the New York Times this morning. It's about the fact that the Swedish car maker Volvo was just sold to a Chinese conglomerate. And regarding the acquisition, the head of that conglomerate, who goes by the very original Chinese name Li, stated in a press conference, he stated, I'm quoting here, I see Volvo as a tiger. The tiger belongs to the forest. It can't be found in a zoo. We need to liberate this tiger. Ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what we're here for tonight. We're telling you to unleash your inner tiger. It's the best part of who you are. It's what makes you a human being. And that's why we're begging you to accept the motion that competition is better than cooperation. Thank you.